Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of A Few Beers and a Shot. With me, Kyle.
And with me, Juan.
Yes.
The
Today,
Juan and only.
we're doing a October episode.
Style episode. we got a lot of stuff to wrap in an October episode.
Yes, we have Oktoberfest, we have Halloween, we have scary movies.
Post-election, pre-election.
Supernatural, everything all wrapped into one.
This election's going to be supernatural.
Yes, it is.
So much to wrap around this episode.
Yes. Well, we won't get too much into the election because I just don't want to.
I like to leave people to their own devices with that.
Yes.
But it's nice to know where people stand, too.
I guess so.
Yeah. Anyway.
But today, to liven it up a little bit, we're going to be drinking, I think the name of the brewery is Ayinger Privatbrauerei in Oktoberfest Marzen, authentic Bavarian festival lager. And it is, don't know, 5.8% alcohol by volume. And the only thing I could find out about this brewery is that it is attached to Samuel Smith Old Brewery in England, and they are not allowed to participate in Oktoberfest because they are not from Munich. So they hold smaller festivals around the countryside around Munich to simulate Oktoberfest. I'm
not sure, but I think it's pronounced Ayinger.
Maybe.
Which one did you say?
Ayinger.
Ayinger? I think it's more like anger. Like hey yo.
They're not from New York.
Hey yo. I'm more like hey yo cut. Let me get that
Yeah, I don't think so.
That.
I don't think that's how it is.
Probably not. Maybe.
Let's see. This is you're gonna have to pop the tops.
That's where this little gift comes in here. How about we do the old switcheroo?
Yes. All right.
Not to be confused with the Cincinnati switcheroo.
Ooh, this actually smells like a real beer.
It smells like a. Oh, my smelling taste buds went bad a little bit.
Your smelling taste buds?
Yes.
Those good old smelling taste buds. Huh?
Yes. Dude, you can taste with your nose too.
Just,
you ever get turned off by a smell when
yes,
you're eating
but
something?
Just smelling
that's your nose taste buds.
But it just smells like you're gonna have a beer, you know.
Dude, so, this ain't a fucking whiskey. It ain't a wine. It's anger.
Oktoberfest Marzen. Yes. So we'll take a sip.
Maybe it's pronounced anger. Like you're angry.
I don't know.
Prost, salud, slacha.
That is good.
It is.
Well, the Germans do know how to brew beer.
What's we have fifth best beer in all of Germany.
Yeah.
Unbecks.
But this is actually. See, we haven't had anything like this in a while.
Yeah. This is imported.
Yeah, it's from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't do that many imported beers.
No,
we do a lot more locals, domestic beers.
Yeah.
So when you throw in an import every now and then, you kind of feel like, "Ooh, this is special."
This is an authentic Bavarian festival lager.
That's what I said.
Yes.
And they're not allowed to do the actual beer fest. They have to go, or Oktoberfest. They have to do a festival outside of Munich because the brewery's not in Munich.
Oh shit! They hit the little kid. Dude, that's something we got to touch on too. Beer Fest, one of the best movies.
That's an episode in itself.
Yeah. Well, I think those guys deserve an episode.
Yes, they do.
All their movies do.
But with this beer, compared to other I guess you would say
Oh,
American
shit.
style Oktoberfest beers.
Hold on. Can we just talk? Hold on. Let's take a minute. Take a minute.
Well, that's why I'm trying to say you can't compare this to American Oktoberfest beers because this has a completely different profile than what America.
This is a beer you could probably drink at any temperature.
Oh yeah.
Fuck what I said the last episode.
Yes.
You drink this warm. You drink this cold. You could drink this.
Dude, can you imagine
in your underwear?
All right, just imagine this in those big steins at like a German restaurant with a whole bunch. Yeah, no, I'm not putting it in a boot today, but like just with a big plate of food in that.
Yeah,
dude, I wouldn't
like a big ass chicken wing.
Well, like
a turkey, like an ostrich wing.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like just a mound of food.
Some sauerkraut,
sausages, pierogi. Like,
hey,
it's German. They have a lot of sausages. Bratwurst, knockwurst, whatever worst, all the worsts, all the worsts you can think of.
The not so worst.
Yeah, but like at those German restaurants where you get those big plates of food.
Yeah,
and then if they brought this up there, I'd be like, all right, this is gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
Or shit, just having this with like a fucking huge pizza.
I gotta recommend this to my buddy Poncho.
Dude, this is really good.
Yeah, Ayinger. They probably get this down in Mexico.
There's like three other ones that they have too. I don't. There actually no. There's 1, 2. There's 6 of them total.
Okay, so we've had imports. I think we've only done like Mexican lock beers. We've done those.
And then we did
the French one.
We did the French one, and I think we did an English one too.
Did we?
I think so. Yeah, we did. I think we did an English one, but the French one was really good.
Yes, it was. It was one of those from the brewery from like 13.
The 1559 or whatever it was called. Yeah,
it
was the green
Crusades
bottle.
Episodes.
The green bottle with the blue label. Yeah, that one was really good.
Episode. Yeah, imports are good. I gotta say, you know how to pick your imports. I'll give you that one.
Well, that's the thing. There's some good imports.
We still gotta get we haven't done the Kill Mess.
Oh yeah,
the Argentinian one. That one's good.
I love that one. Yeah. That's actually.
We gotta find that one.
Oh, I know where it's at. You can get it at Benny's.
Yeah.
I love. Oh, dude, when I went to, I went to this.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I went to an Argentinian like steakhouse or an Argentinian restaurant, and that was the only beer that they had.
Dude, oh my god! And after you taste it,
I know.
You smell it.
It's amazing.
And here's the thing. I don't know if you do this. I don't know if this happens to you.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
But I just got to get this out there before I lose it. When you take the swig and not necessarily wash it around in your mouth, but it hits the roof of your mouth and it kind of goes a little bit into your nose.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you really get the smell for it.
Yep.
With your nose taste buds. I just made up a thing. It's a thing. It's a fucking thing, dude. Deal with it. It's so much better.
Oh, I know.
It's so good. I don't think I've hyped up a beer this much since Goldfinger. The taco.
I know this is actually really good.
It's really good. I'm enjoying it. I'm sad we don't have a lot more of these.
Well, they only came in a 4-pack.
Yeah, but still, I mean, 5.8. 5.8 is not a bad alcohol level. I could probably do a 6-pack of these.
Yeah, I think
and be
I could
okay.
Too. Like if we were just hanging out and had these, I mean, I'd probably do quite a few.
Yeah, they're really good.
There's a couple good Polish beers we can do too, that are like that, where you're just like, man, this is
good of a match.
I had like 6 of these and I'm still walking.
Yeah. Well, over in Germany, there's probably water.
Probably, yeah.
It's like I wash my hands with that shit.
Well, but see, that's the thing. Like how you just brought up in Beer Fest, how they talk about Beck's. Like, dude, Beck's is a strong tasting beer. Yeah. Like, I couldn't really drink regular Beck's. I had to drink their like light version because the regular one was just like
pungent.
Like how Heineken can get skunky.
Yeah.
It like Beck's can do that too.
See, there's the thing. This isn't skunky.
Like I like Heineken Light. Heineken Light I could drink all day.
Here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Heineken, and it's probably because probably one of the first ones I tasted were skunky.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really confirm that because I tasted Heineken afterwards, and I was like, it's still kind of skunky.
Yeah.
This is, it's got that smell where it's a little bit but it's in a good way.
But it's not really skunky. It's more pungent.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I mean. Like, in a good way, it kind of gets up there and you're like, is that... Oh, yeah. No.
it makes me think of bread.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think when I had Heineken, I would always be like, this is good, but it's kind of.
Yeah.
With this, I'm just thinking like bread and just food. Like, that's what I'm thinking about with this. Like, I'm thinking about, I want to sit here with a big plate of like German or Polish food and just go to town.
You know what this makes me crave a little bit?
Hmm.
Maxwell Street fucking hot dog.
That's what I'm saying. Maxwell Street Polish.
Yeah.
Or throw in
with some sauerkraut on there.
or you could just
mustard.
get a bratwurst and do that.
Bratwurst with some sauerkraut and
Yeah.
mustard.
Oh, dude, can you imagine marinating bratwurst overnight?
With the shit.
This would be good
Probably
too.
good,
Yeah.
All right. Let's
I
get
gotta
to
say
the topic.
this is one of my
Stop jerking off this beer.
well, this is one of my favorite ones
Let's
that I
start-
think we did with the show.
Get to the chopper.
This is like a on the tier of staying up here,
we
man.
didn't say what. Well, actually, that's why I kept that strawberry can, because that's going on the wall of
Well,
fame.
here, we're gonna put that.
We got to wash it, but it's still going
I'll
on.
leave that right there.
Yeah.
I feel like this needs to be up there,
Yeah, it could go up there.
especially with the fact that we don't do a lot of imports.
Yeah.
Because I kind of brush over that section because I want to get something more local.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of.
Well, you want to get this. We want to get the
And those people
stuff
are.
that's out there for that the people can get.
Yeah.
But if you got it, then they can.
I've
get
never seen it before until I was at the one by your house.
it. Okay.
So that's why when I saw it, I'm like, huh.
Hey, you got it. They can get it.
Yeah.
There's always Amazon.
True.
Sponsor.
But when it comes to, I mean, I guess maybe we should do more imports.
Well, they're imports, so we can get them. They can get them.
Well, I know.
I'm not saying.
No, but I'm just saying
I'm not saying go to your local gas station.
No,
and
but I'm
read it,
saying we kind of, at least me personally, I've been avoiding doing imported stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to be more local, more representative of the Midwest kind of beer culture that's here. Because I feel like the majority of the ones that we've done have been primarily this in the Chicagoland Midwest area.
Yeah.
We've done a few in California and everywhere else, but like I feel like the majority of our stuff has been
I thought we were just doing a
Chicago
beer show,
based.
man.
Me too. But I'm picking a lot of those.
Oh shit! The Eddie fell.
You know, I'm picking a lot of like Chicago based ones when I look at them.
Yeah.
And where I
for sure.
kind of overlook some other things, like there's plenty of imported stuff we can do.
Well, here's the thing, just so everybody knows.
Or we could just
if it looks good, we're gonna try it.
We're gonna do it. We can do a import marathon.
Ooh. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I didn't do the ooh in a bad way. I'm like, ooh. You're throwing some grease in those.
But needless to
gears.
say, with it getting colder outside and you want to, make something like, I don't know, like me personally, I want to throw something on the smoker when it's cold outside or when you go grilling outside just because it's cold, but they have the hot grill going. Like, dude.
Like right before it gets to like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this for the rest of the year.
Like, dude, this is definitely like a Sunday, like late morning, early afternoon watching football kind of beer with like, you bring in
football
that food.
Or a soccer match?
No, football. Football.
I feel like this is more soccer.
No, I kind of this has a football vibe, American football vibe.
This has more of a, he was past the foul line, and it's going to be a penalty.
But I'm just saying, you sit at the house, you got the Bears game on, you got you got some,
or you got the Chicago Fire game on. Whatever,
yeah, I guess so if you can find it. But you got like you got your
even televise those games.
They do. But it's like on ESPN6. But anyway.
Ocho.
Yeah. You got like, you got your whole tray of bratwurst. You got your dips. You got your whatever.
You got your Doritos with your cheese dip.
Yeah, dude. And then you just bust this out.
Yeah. This is definitely a good beer.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I just want that. This is good beer. All right. Let's dive into some topics October-wise.
Yes. So I will start it off by watching one of the wackiest scary movie soon to be trilogies.
Okay.
There's only 2 of them out right now. The next one's actually in the works. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
That's the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
And dude, so it was an independent film.
Is that okay? So really quick before we dive into that really quick, was that because of the whole thing where the Winnie the Pooh character rights expired after 100 years or whatever, and they're like, oh, we could do a movie with whatever?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I just
I
think they wanted to
that.
just do a really. Well, here, let me look.
Because like licensed or copyrights only last for 100 years before they're released to like public record or whatever.
So here, the Walt Disney Company the character rights had been owned by the Walt Disney Company since 1966, and while Disney retains exclusive rights to the depictions of these characters from their own franchise, the first Winnie the Pooh book went into public domain in the U.S. January 1st, 2022. After the U.S. copyright lapsed, the guy who made the film developed on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey the same year. So with the copyright being done on the book,
public domain,
he was able to then create this movie.
Yeah.
Even though Disney owns the rights to the characters in the franchise, he's doing it with the books.
Yeah.
So it defeats. It's
a
loophole. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's like after 100 years, properties become public domain. That's why everybody's able to use like H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
Yeah.
So
the premise of the first one, okay,
the Blood and Honey,
yes, is it's a plot where Winnie the Pooh and Piglet turn into homicidal maniacs after Christopher Robin leaves for college and leaves them on their own.
So this is Toy Story gone bad?
Yes. And dude, so you got Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and the Owl, and Eeyore. They don't have Roo and any of the other. Oh, and Tigger. Tigger's in it too. Tigger is more in the second one than the first one. So this is crazy. So like, Christopher Robin in the first one.
I haven't seen this.
Dude, just wait. It's crazy. So in the first one, they're kids. They're all kids. So Christopher Robin's a kid, and then Winnie the Pooh's a kid, and all of them are kids. And Christopher Robin is hanging out with them, and he's bringing them food, and he's bringing them stuff, bringing them clothing and everything else. And as they're growing up and playing together, like, they're not crazy, but you could clearly see that there's something wrong with them because they're fucking weird. So at 18, Christopher Robin tells him, he's like, hey, I'm going to college. I won't be able to do this anymore. So then he goes to college, and Winnie the Pooh and Piglet are like, fuck, what are we going to do for food? Like, he brought us all our food. We don't know what to do.
I'm not a real bear.
So they eat Eeyore.
Oh, man.
They're like, well, we need to eat. So they kill Eeyore and they eat him.
Okay.
And then they decide after that they are going to abandon talking. They're not going to talk anymore. And they're going to turn back into their animalistic instincts of being a bear and being like a wild pig. So then they go on this huge mass killing spree of killing a whole bunch of people in the 100-acre wood. And then Christopher Robin comes back because he's like, oh, I want to see where my friends are. And he brings like his girlfriend or fiance or whatever she is. He brings her there. And she's like, man, this place looks fucked up. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You played here? And he's like, I remember this being a lot different than from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then they see like blood everywhere. So then they hear somebody coming into the house and they hide. So they're hiding and they see that like Winnie the Pooh is not Winnie the Pooh that they knew or he knew anymore. So he's sleeping.
These are like fucking blood rage.
So
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. So then he's sleeping and they sneak out of the house and they're trying to get away. And when they get away, Piglet starts fucking choking this dude's like girlfriend, Christopher Robin's girlfriend, and he's like, Piglet, stop! It's me, Christopher Robin, and he just fucking kills her, like right in front of him. He's just like snaps her neck off, and she's just laying there dead. And Christopher Robin runs away, and he runs into this like part of the woods, and he's hiding, and he sees Winnie the Pooh, and he's like, Pooh, I don't know what the hell happened, like. Piglet went crazy. And Winnie the Pooh's trying to kill Christopher Robin, and he runs away, and then he ends up Winnie the Pooh and Piglet end up killing like hundreds of people, and Christopher Robin survives, but a lot of people think he's the one that did it because he's talking about a fucking bear and a pig and all these other things that were kids. But
this sounds crazy.
Yeah, but they don't charge him with anything, and that's like basically the end of the first one. Then the second one comes in, and now Christopher Robin's older. He's like a doctor. No, he's a nurse. He's a nurse at a hospital, and these killings start happening up again. And he's like, dude, it's not me. It's clearly not me. Winnie the Pooh's real. Piglet's real. The owl's real. Like, all these fucking things are real. Keeps going. More people die. And then a guy that he knows is out in the woods trying to find these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives after, like, so they killed Piglet. Well, you thought they killed Piglet. They shoot him in the head with a fucking shotgun, and his head blows up. And you think that he's dead. But the owl brings him back to, like, their cabin, and he's bringing him back to life somehow with, like, magical honey or some shit. So Piglet's head is growing back. And one of the guys that's involved in this, like, search party for it gets a birdshot round of shotgun shells into the face. So his face is all fucked up from birdshot. So he's laying there in the hospital, and he told the police he'll talk to the police after he talks to Christopher Robin. He has to talk to Christopher Robin first before he talks about anything.
Yeah.
So Christopher Robin, I was going to say walking. Christopher Robin walks into his... Yeah. So he walks into his room.
Piglet is real.
He walks into his...
and the Pooh...
His hospital room. And he's talking to him. And the guy, he's like, you are right, and I'm sorry. And he's like, I was right. What are you talking about? He goes, they're real. And he goes, and they did this to me. And he takes off his bandages and he shows his fucked up face. And then he's like, Winnie the Pooh did this to you? And he's like, uh-huh. So then he's like, oh, shit. So now, Winnie the Pooh and the owl, and actually all right, so Winnie the Pooh's just killing random people all over the place.
He's just like, I gotta eat.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it, I'm killing people.
Like, fuck,
and while he's doing that, Tigger is in like a cage inside of their cabin. Like they won't let Tigger out for some reason.
It's probably the most violent.
So the English, like the police of England, is like searching the 100-acre wood trying to find any validity to what's going on. And they come across the cabin, and the owl and the Pooh are gone. And Piglet's like body's just like laying there, just whatever. So then the door to Tigger's cell is open, and they walk in there, and they're just seeing like body bags. They're not really seeing anything, and they're like, the one cop goes, "All right, I think we can bounce out of here," and then Tigger goes, "That's my line," and kills all of them. But he's more like a Freddy Krueger type guy. Like he's just slicing and dicing. To where Winnie the Pooh is like a cross between Michael Myers and Jason with like a bum leg. So he's like walking like this with a big like beer gut because he's Winnie the Pooh. So they kill all these cops.
No, are all these characters like human size?
They're bigger. So I'll get into that part.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, are they like hobbits?
No. They're full size human. Like I would look at. Tigger was more like bulky and fit and kind of looked like, I don't know, I can't really compare him to like a scary person. He looked more like a football player, like a fit football player, or like
a shorter
but jacked.
Yeah.
And then Pooh looked like a cross between like Jason and Michael Myers, but with like a hillbilly gut. Like that's how his stature was. And then the owl,
so like the hills have eyes kind of thing.
Yes. And then the owl looked like a creepy vulture.
Okay.
So
weird.
So Pooh is still all around like killing people, and Tigger gets out.
That's my line.
Yeah. And then the owl is just like flying around talking shit, like killing people who are just hanging out there.
Over there, go kill him.
That's pretty much what he was doing.
So he was the scout.
Yeah. So while that's all going on, Christopher Robin finds his friends who are like throwing this like warehouse rave.
Oh my god, this sounds like Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking awesome. And they're like, they didn't want to invite him because they're like, oh, we don't want a murderer coming to our fucking party.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, guys, I
Of
won't come
course.
anyway.
And he's together.
So now this part happens where he finds out like he has a hypnotherapy on his life because he had a very traumatic life, and he finds out that his brother.
Yeah, he used to talk to fucking bears.
Dude, just wait. So he finds out his brother was abducted by somebody. And he finds the guy who abducted his brother because of this hypnotherapy. He was able to see the face. And he ends up being like a custodian or something in like a hospital or something. Or at the hospital that he works at. So he talks to him. He's like, yeah, this doctor would pay me to like kidnap kids and I'd bring them to his house and he would do experiments on them.
Yeah.
So then as you're breaking everything down, this doctor was taking animal DNA and crossing it into kids and turning kids into like animals. So Winnie the Pooh is Christopher Robin's brother. And Piglet was a person that was kidnapped as a kid and then turned into a pig. Eeyore, all of them were kids who then had all this DNA and then turned into these animals. And they took more of their animalistic characteristics than human characteristics. So now Winnie the Pooh is like, well, I'm out of the 100-acre wood. He goes and he starts finding his family and killing all his family because Christopher Robin left him. So there's a really funny scene with their mom, and he kills his mom and he kills his dad. And then he has a niece that he doesn't kill. And then they find this party because all these people are at this party. And the owl and Winnie the Pooh are like hanging out on this like bridge looking at the party. And the owl looks at Winnie the Pooh. He goes, oh, you and Tigger are going to have fun tonight. And he's like, okay. So then they go to this party and it's a costume party. And Winnie the Pooh shows up with like a fucking like pole. They're getting ready to just beat the shit out of people. And the doorman is like, huh, that's a funny costume. What the fuck are you supposed to be? And he takes the pole and he shoves it through his face. And he just gets impaled with this pole. And the girl starts screaming and runs into the party. So Pooh is like, fuck it, I'm just going to start killing everybody here. Yeah. So he just goes on this mass, like, 90s horror movie type killing spree where everybody's just exploding pretty much. Yeah. And then Tigger starts killing people and they keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And all these people are dumb. Like, you're running towards the scary guy instead of running away. And then when you run away, you run into a corner where there's no out. So that just keeps going. And then Christopher Robin shows up and he yells at Tigger. And Tigger shows up and they're starting to fight. And he shoots Tigger in the stomach. And then Tigger runs away for some reason. And then he finds like Winnie the Pooh outside. And now they're in a junkyard, which I don't know how they got to a junkyard. And Winnie the Pooh has a chainsaw. And he's chasing around with a chainsaw that's on fire now. And he just keeps like going after him. And he gets the chainsaw away from him. And then he gets like an axe? He gets like an axe or a bat. And he goes to kill Winnie the Pooh. And he jumps in the air to swing this axe on his head. And the final thing Winnie the Pooh says as is about to happen, he goes, oh, bother. And his head explodes. And he falls down. So he saves his people that he cares about, and he leaves. And the owl shows up, and he gets Winnie the Pooh, brings him back to the house, and he goes, oh, Christopher Robin, you think this is over? We'll be back. And he's bringing Piglet and Winnie the Pooh back to life, and that's when they're going to start the third one. So I basically told you both movies in that little period of time. And, dude, it was awesome.
Can we do a timeout? I got to pee.
Just pause it.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I would have let you kept going on about the poop, but apparently it was over. And
you got to keep you got to watch it because it's not scary at all. It's entertaining, and you would laugh. Like I laughed most of the time that I watched it.
Well,
and I watched it with the boys too, and they were laughing too. Like it wasn't scary, but it was just
It was
entertaining.
more comical.
It was like those early, like the late '90s, early 2000s, like slasher horror
So
movies,
like the Robert Englund for
like
the careers.
very outrageous.
Yeah.
So it was just funny, and he had a couple jump scares, but it was more like just like it was goofy, and
Yeah.
it was entertaining.
I got you.
But the
Like-
costumes in the first one fucking suck compared to the second one. They
It's not CGI.
no, they're in costumes. It's like Slipknot. It's like Slipknot playing. Like the first one was terrible as far as what Pooh and Piglet and all them look like. The second one was so much better. Like they clearly made better money from like after they made the first one to make the second one, and made way better costumes.
There are movies I want to watch. I'm not like dying to watch them, but I was like, I've seen enough to be like, this looks interesting. The Terrifier movies.
You know, I just saw like them come up on, was it Hulu?
Yeah.
I think it was Hulu where I wanted to watch them, but Colleen's like, no, we're not watching it.
Yeah. They look interesting. I haven't seen them. I know it's kind of like he kind of fucks with you while he's killing you kind of dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes it funny. But I don't know. I haven't seen them, so I gotta get through those. But yeah, dude. Halloween's coming up, so October, scary movies. Oh, you know, a movie just came out. It was good. It was actually really good. Salem's Lot on HBO Max.
What is that?
It's off a Stephen King novel.
Okay.
There was a show or a miniseries, I believe.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, I think, maybe.
And
now they made it into a movie. So they shortened it up. It's a movie, and it's cool. It's Salem's Lot's a movie about vampires.
Okay.
So you got Ryan from The Boys is in it.
Oh, okay.
Homelander's kid, he's in it, and you could tell it was filmed a while ago because he looks
different.
Young. He looks young compared to The Boys season 4.
Huh.
Yeah. So there is that. It's really good though, and the thing that gets me, dude, like with movies, when they don't shy away from like, it's like there's nothing off limits. Like I'll kill kids, I'll kill women, whatever. I've seen a couple movies like that where I'm just like, and you know, I don't know if this happens to you, but like before I was like, oh man, that's messed up, and now that I have offspring, I'm just like, oh man, that hits home, like way harder. Because like I was telling one of my friends about there's a movie by H.P. Lovecraft. Well, not by H.P. Lovecraft. It's based off an H.P. Lovecraft story called The Color Out of Space. And this movie came out a couple years ago. Nicolas Cage is in it. And what's her name? The lady from what's the movie with the weed farms? The Gentleman.
Oh, okay.
So the TV show, the mom,
yeah,
you remember her?
Yes.
She's in it. She's Nicolas Cage's wife, and it's based off the story The Color Out of Space. And there's this scene, and I'm gonna fuck this up for everybody because I don't care. Spoiler alert. Where there's like, I don't know, like a whatever cosmic storm going on because a meteor landed in their farm. And Nicholas is like, everybody needs to get the fuck out of here right now. And he's got 3 kids. He's got like an 8-year-old and 2 teenagers. And the 8-year-old runs out of the fucking barn. And his mom's like, her first reaction is like, my baby, right? So she catches him because the other 2 fuckers could run. And next thing you know, like the fucking cosmic rays like fuse them together. And the little 8-year-old's like sticking out her back, and they're like fucking mutated, like the Thing.
Yeah,
they're mutated, and you could like it's all like growls and like you could just watching that fucking mutation and pain. I'm just like, ooh, and I'm like, those are where I'm like, oh, that's fucking that hits way harder.
That's weird.
Yeah. No, dude, it's a crazy movie. Like, you have to like cosmic horror to like that stuff. That's like all that stuff. We had that episode about H.P. Lovecraft before. You have to like that. You have to be into that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to say enjoy it, but be like into it. You know, like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it's like, you know, it's not real.
Yeah.
You know, it's fiction, and and I think that I mean, that comment goes a long way because it can go for anything.
Yeah.
It's not real. You know, you could.
Well, dude, I'll tell you. I watched was it A Quiet Place, like the beginning or day one, or whatever it was
I haven't
called?
seen that. How is that?
It was awful.
Okay.
It didn't.
The Emily Blunt ones.
It didn't.
Fucking good.
It didn't help anything at all. Like, I'm like, it followed this chick around, and that was it. Like, it had no, like, I was hoping that it would have brought up like the military perspective of like, oh, this is what's coming, and like, this is what's here, and this is what we need to do.
How they got
didn't cover any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like when it was done, me and Colleen looked at each other. We're like,
the fuck was that?
This is the end of the movie? Like, I have so many fucking questions.
Yeah.
Like, they needed to do a whole separate, like,
I think they're doing another one.
But I mean, they needed to do a whole thing of just like explaining what the fuck was going on. This was literally just a girl who was dying from some disease, and that's who you followed around, and that's who you watched, and then at the end she does some shit. Like, that was literally it. Like, it had no concept of like, you saw the aliens land and then do their shit, but you didn't have like what was going on? Why did they do this? What was this? What was that? Like, there was no explanation.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't think you could explain how they landed.
No, but I feel like there could have been a different, like,
perspective
with it being
maybe?
day one.
Mm-hmm.
And while day one was going on, there was like the military was moving around New York and doing this and doing that. Like, all that was going on around her. But like, they could have like flashed over to like a military person in the movie to kind of give you a little bit of perspective of that. Like, oh, we have potential imminent attack of something or a meteor shower.
They get, like, blindsided and
kinda, but at the same time, no, because there was military personnel all over New York City, and then they were closing bridges and doing this and doing that. Like, they were doing things before the things actually landed.
So did they explain in the movie if it was like a worldwide thing?
No,
or just like...
they didn't explain anything at all, dude. So it was just really, it was so vague.
Because that reminds me of, like, I don't know if you ever saw 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you saw 28 Days Later, you saw the end of the movie where they were like, oh, this isn't worldwide, because they saw a plane at the end of the movie. And then you see 28 weeks later, and you're like, oh, you spread the disease to the rest of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got 28 years later coming up.
I forgot
Cillian Murphy's coming back. Yes!
It was. I forgot what they said, how much it cost in 28 Days Later to have that part of London shut down.
Oh yeah, it was like millions of dollars.
Like, they had to pay so much money to shut it down just for that scene.
Well, it was like when they shut down fucking Manhattan for Tom Cruise's Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
It's like super expensive, and it's like the shot's like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Vanilla Sky when they shut down. What's it called? Broadway, or is it Broadway?
Times Square.
Times Square. Yeah, is it Times Square?
Yeah, Broadway is just theaters.
Yeah,
I think it's Times Square.
Times Square. That's where the Daily Bugle is. That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Where the Daily Bugle is.
Or if you want to be more current, the Continental. Same fucking building. Anyway, 28 days later, 28 weeks later, and then they're apparently going to do 28 years later, because it's been almost 20 years or more since 28 days later came out.
It's been that long.
Oh yeah, that movie's been out for a while. That's like an early 2000s movie, dude. That's when Cillian Murphy was barely breaking out, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's been a while.
2002.
So 22 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do 28 years later by now. 6 years short, you know.
28 Weeks Later was in 2007. Ooh, Rose Byrne is in it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy Renner?
Yeah, Jeremy Renner's the good guy. He dies.
Yeah. Yeah, but Rose Byrne.
Yeah, I think she's like a doctor. Like a military doctor. In it.
I like Rose Byrne.
Yeah. You know what role she was really good in? Did you ever see the movie Spy?
Yes.
She was fucking awesome in that.
Yeah, she was. She was good in it.
Don't touch my fucking hair. She was like the fucking mob leader. Or not mob, but like terrorist daughter or whatever. Back to horror movies. What's your favorite horror movie? Scary movie, horror movie. It doesn't have to be a slasher. I'm just saying, like, in general, what's like, you're like, oh, that's my go-to.
See, I don't know, man. Like, it's been a while since I actually got to sit down and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I watched one that was a Spanish film, The Orphanage. That one was creepy.
Yeah, I saw that.
That one was good.
Spanish movie.
What was in Spain?
Yeah.
You know, that one was good. Then
the Spanish actually do good horror.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
Hit or miss.
So, all right, what I watched, all right, I actually watched this a couple weeks ago, and it's not really scary, but it's like suspenseful in a way where it's kind of creepy.
Mm.
And it's better. It's a sequel, but it's better than the first one that came out.
Okay.
But it's still bad. But it's a better movie-esque. Like, the movie is better than the original.
Okay.
Blair Witch 2.
Oh, the Book of Doom or whatever?
Yeah. That one is way better than the first one.
That one was a different take.
Yes, yeah. But I'm saying, like...
It's like an actual film.
Like an actual film. And that's why I liked it better. So, I was watching that not too long ago. And there's a part of it where the dude is outside and he gets, like, greeted by the ghost, and then the ghost gets inside and fucks everything up. Like, that was cool. And that movie, like, I watched it at night, and I shouldn't have, because then I was, like, I was having, like...
nightmares?
No, not nightmares, but I was having lucid dreams all night. So, but that's one that I like. I like... oh, what was that? Oh, the one movie... It's based in L.A., and it's like an apartment building. Quarantine.
Okay. No, that's not in L.A. That's a Spanish movie, too.
No, the one that's in L.A. Quarantine.
Okay.
They did one in the U.S.
Is that the one with Dustin Hoffman?
No. It's kind of like a first, like you're in a handheld camera type movie. And it's like an experiment, like this mad scientist was creating shit.
So it's kind of a replica of the one from Spain.
Yes.
With the apartment buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
with
that
the
one.
news reporter.
Yes.
Chick.
Exactly like that. So that one was okay.
Is that one called Wreck?
And I always liked House on Haunted Hill.
Oh yeah, classics.
That's so much like a Marilyn Manson music video.
Yeah.
Where they're doing that slow motion shit. Like, that was cool. And then, what was the one with all the... It's not Resident Evil. But, like, inside this building, it has all, like, these evil creatures, like, in these glass containers.
Cabin in the Woods.
No. It's
not
like...
Cabin in the Woods?
No, it's like... oh, dude, what is it called? You can't see them because they're in these like glass things, but you can only see them if you have these glasses on. Oh God, what was it called?
They're alive.
Hang on, is it House of? It's not House of 1,000 Horrors, is it?
House of 1,000 Corpses? That's a Rob Zombie one, isn't it?
No, it's not. Nope, it's not that movie.
Because what you're describing sounds like the Cabin in the Woods movie.
So it's, oh God, dude, it's an old movie. Well, old, like late 90s, early 2000s, old. But it's like they're in this mansion, and inside this mansion is like a lab, and is it 10,000 Ghosts?
Oh, 13 Ghosts.
13 is it? No, it's not 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Is it 13 Ghosts?
With Matthew Lillard? Fucking Shaggy?
Let me see.
And the dude from Monk, and he has to sacrifice himself at the end. The dad sacrifice, and Elizabeth Shannon, with her tickle old biddies.
Let me see. Yes, it is
13
13 Ghosts.
Okay.
That movie was good.
That movie was fucked up.
Yeah. Because that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 13 Ghosts.
Okay.
It's the glass house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you said rooms, I was like, oh, that sounds like Cabin in the Woods. You've seen Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm just thinking like it was like those little things.
Yeah. Well, they had them all compartmentalized, and the house like shifted.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking Zelda. You had to play the fucking right song to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that movie was good too.
That was I gotta say that was a very original idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a decent movie. I'm not knocking it by any means, but I go with the classics, baby.
Hmm.
The Thing, Kurt Russell one.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go with the Halloweens. Jason's always good.
See, the thing that got me about the Halloweens, dude, is like, all right,
Michael Myers is a bitch.
You could dig a hole,
Busta Rhymes kicked his ass.
push Michael Myers in the hole, cover him with cement, get on a plane, fly to another country. And
you said the same thing about Jason, dude.
They're both the same thing, dude.
Kind of.
Did you see there was a TikTok about like when the camera's not on Michael Myers or Jason, what he's doing? He's like full sprinting down the street. They're like, yep, they're like, this is what they don't show you in horror films, and they show Jason and they pan away and he goes taking off and it runs down the block and he's like, okay, and he starts walking again. But it was just, I don't know. The only one I really liked was that one when Jason punched the dude's head off the roof.
Yeah, that's Jason taking that hand. Well, the thing I like about Jason is like he's brutal when he kills.
Yeah.
Like Freddy Krueger was kind of comical when he killed. It's
Mm-hmm.
like funny. But the thing, dude, which is based off a book, Who Goes There? And there's a 19 black and white movie called The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's either The Thing or Who Goes There. It's based off the book, but it's a novel. But yeah, man, that's one of my favorite movies. The Thing. In general, a lot of scary movies are good. I think as long as the story is good and it's not super cheesy, that you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, you know what movie's really good? Urban Legend. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
That movie was so good for its time, dude. It was like what, late 90s?
Yeah.
Really late 90s, early 2000s, and it was so innovative because you're like, oh my god, Urban Legends. Everybody's heard of Urban Legends, and then you got this fucking serial killer.
Well, then you
killing
hated it because you're like, I don't want to go outside. This might happen to me. Oh no.
Well, do you remember how that movie freaked people out with Pop Rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh my god, it's not real. 'Cause there's people that actually drink Pop Rocks with Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh my god, your stomach doesn't burst, but it just gives you a really bad stomach ache. And it could fuck you up if you do a lot, but it's not cocaine.
Like I could never get into the Saw movies.
No,
Like
I'm not into gore.
Yeah. So I never really liked
Or the Hostel movies.
Yeah, I wasn't big into those either.
No.
Like I just didn't think of those as scary movies. Those were more just like
Those are
you
gore
got
movies.
issues. Like,
Yeah.
those are
Like the Human Centipede
yeah.
kind of deal.
I'm like these are like you have a kink for this kind of weird shit,
Yeah.
and I'm just not into it.
Right. I don't know how they made so many of those Saw movies. Like there's a lot of twisted people out there.
Oh, I know.
You.
And I did
enjoy
like
this.
the Rob Zombie version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I liked his take on Michael Myers too.
That one was good too.
Yeah, he did 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rob Zombie's got a unique mind for horror movies.
Yep.
I would like to see what his take is on like a Freddy Krueger too.
Yeah.
Because the last one they made was not good.
No.
And it sucks because it was Rorschach. He was Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I went to the movies to see Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, me too, dude. I remember Phil worked at the movie theater over here when it was Movies 10, where Dick's Sporting Goods is over here in Joliet. That was Movies 10. And he had
That
access.
wasn't Movies 10. Wasn't Movies 10 next to the Toys R Us?
No, that was Movies 10 over there.
What was the one that was next to Toys R Us that they knocked down?
There's probably Movies 8.
Oh.
There was a couple of them, but the one Philwork that was Movies 10. And I remember because we got to see it. Like, you know how movies come out like the night before? Like, oh, this Friday night, blah, blah, blah. And it's like Thursday night, you go at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, they got the fucking movie. And I remember, I think it was like in the summer. And he's like, dude, we got the movie. And I was like, dude, let's watch it. So it was like a group of our friends. And we would bring like, he's like, just bring like something to drink Coke and like bring a glass or whatever, like a thermos. Drinks are free. We all brought food from like fucking fast food places around the place. Popcorn's free. And we watched the movies like in the middle of the night on like a Wednesday before they premiered.
Yeah.
We did that with Freddy vs. Jason, and we did it with The Return of the King.
Okay.
So I got to see Return of the King before everybody else.
Nice. Yeah. When I went to go see Freddy vs. Jason, we're watching it, and then like a third of the way in the movie, the fucking power went out at the quarry.
That happened to me at a movie theater too.
And it went out, and everything like the emergency lights pop on.
Yeah,
and we're just sitting there, and then some dude's like, man, if some dude comes out in a Jason costume or a Freddy costume, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
And then the manager comes in. He's like, hey guys, because of the storm, we lost power.
I was gonna wear a Jason mask,
He's just like, hey, we lost power, so the power should be back on soon. But do you guys want to watch the film from the beginning, or do you want us to find where we were at?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, if you can find where we're at, because we're already like 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
So they went to the beginning, and you see like, oh, like to where it was at. And then we watched the movie, but I was like, dude, that would have been some fucked up shit if that's how it was planned. And like some fucking dude comes out and tries to fucking scare us.
Yeah.
But that movie was hilarious, dude. I was laughing my ass off to that whole
Some
movie.
pissed off goalie's killing everybody in the cornfield. Yeah. Well, they're having that rave at a fucking farm. Yeah. And the Freddy worm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that shit. That shit was so goofy, dude. Those movies were really goofy.
Oh, that shit was so good.
I remember I used to be so fucking scared of Freddy Krueger. When I was growing up, they're like, he could kill you in your dreams. So
the only one that got me was the waterbed scene, because my parents had a waterbed at the time.
Yeah.
And I hated if I had to like go wake up my parents and I had to go near it, because I didn't want to go near it.
Well, to this date,
not to mention that waterbeds were weird anyway. But.
Waterbeds are weird. I can't sleep. Like, you know how Johnny Depp he had the TV like next to him, and he was like in like his leg was crossed over like a 4. His legs made like a 4. I can't sleep like that because I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Like to the day, and I'm like, Freddy Krueger's not even fucking real, but I can't do that because I'm like, no, Freddy's gonna get me. And it's not like I'm like, oh, I can't do it because I'm just like. Nah, it's one of those things where it's like, are you superstitious? I was like, nah, I'm just stitious. I don't wear a cape. No, it's just like, would you walk under a ladder?
No.
Why not? Are you superstitious?
No, I'd run into the fucking thing.
What thing?
The bar that goes across the ladder.
I'm not talking about an A-frame ladder. I'm talking about just a ladder.
No, I would always worry that it would fall on me. I never really thought about like especially if somebody has like
No, don't make shit up.
No.
You're just not gonna risk it.
I would just
That's
never walk.
is.
I would never walk under something that somebody's walking on anyway.
There doesn't need to be anybody on there. Would you walk under it? No.
No, if it was there, just walk around it.
Why? You're not gonna risk it. Exactly. So you're not superstitious. You're just stitious.
No, I would just not walk. I wouldn't walk under a ladder because it makes no sense. I have broken a mirror before.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was mad. And that shit broke everywhere. And it took like 5 years to get that out of my carpet.
Yeah. 7 years of bad luck. That was 5 of it. Yeah.
I step on cracks. It happens.
Oh, step on the crack, you break your mama's back. Step on the line, you break your papa's spine. Yeah. That's different, though. That's a saying. That's not a bad juju thing. Bad juju is like the monkey paw or walking under.
I don't have no monkey paw, that's for sure.
Hey, you never had a monkey paw?
No, I never had a monkey paw.
3 Wishes?
No.
Then they made a movie about that, too. You know, the thing is, I can't get into the new scarier movies or the newer scary slasher movies like Smile or
that
Truth
just
or
looks
Dare.
weird, man.
Yeah, that or like the Truth or Dare movie. I think one of the later scary movies that I saw was the Babysitter Queen or Babysitter Killer Queen, whatever, with Samara Morgan
I don't know that one.
or Samara Weaving. Yeah,
Don't know who that is.
she's the one of the Margot Robbie lookalike chicks.
Okay.
She's pretty good looking. But yeah. But hey, I can't get into new horror films. It's
No,
just,
they don't.
Yeah, they don't. I feel like they don't have a franchise in them.
Yeah.
You know, like you ask anybody our age, hey, do you know who Freddy is? Yeah. Do you know who Jason is? Yeah. Do you know Michael Myers? Yes. Do you know Chucky? Yes. Do you know Hellraiser? Or do you know
See, that's
Pinhead?
another one. Like, I couldn't really get into the Hellraiser movies.
Pinhead?
Yeah.
The first 2 are the good ones. Everything after that was coming downhill. Yeah, but yeah, Pinhead. Those are fucking crazy movies. What else you got? Do you remember Puppet Master?
Mm-hmm.
Puppet Master was good movies too. Then there are other obscure movies like that. Which
What was the ones that were like gremlins? They were like evil gremlins, but it wasn't called gremlins. It was called something else.
Gremlins were evil, dude.
No, but it was like big, like ball, like there was only like 1 or 2.
Oh, Critters.
Yes,
Critters. Yes. Yeah. That was another one. Yeah, Critters. Critters is good. You know what reminded me of that? Do you remember there was a TV show when we were kids and it was like a Saturday morning thing? It was like Mutant Tomatoes or whatever. Yes. Killer Tomatoes Attack or whatever. And I was
Attack
like,
of the Killer Tomatoes.
yes, it was like Killer Attack of the. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, aren't you a vegetable?
Yep, I remember that.
Aren't you gonna roll up like, I'm going to eat you now? Stephen Hawking. That was Stephen Hawking reference.
That was Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. He was a bad guy too.
He was a killer tomato.
He was a killer vegetable. Oh. Did I take it there? Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was bad. Take it back.
Mm-mm. He was on the Epstein Island. Fuck that. They saw his fucking
but
wheel marks on the beach.
He couldn't do anything.
Still. Take your top off for me.
Yeah, but he's just looking.
I like 12-year-old boys.
There was only girls on that island. There was no boys. Epstein didn't want boys there.
Yeah, you sure about that?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Exactly.
You sound like you had first-hand experience.
No, I just read a lot about the shit. Just like the Diddy thing now.
And Beyonce.
Oh,
Beyonce is worse than Diddy.
Oh, this is new horror for me. What happened with Beyonce?
There's shit where she's just as bad, dude.
Well, I know she's just as
And
bad,
then-
so
and
is
then-
Jay-Z.
Then in Garth Brooks is the country version.
Yeah, Tom Segura has been saying that shit for years. Where the bodies, Garth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know about that one. Which, I gotta say, like, Tom Segura's fallen from grace for me, too, though.
Give me that one for me.
Yeah. You know, like, who Tom Segura's dad is, right?
Mhm.
He's the VP for Chase Morgan.
His dad dead.
Yeah, I know, but his dad was the VP for JP Morgan, which is
My
the
bank.
banking system, and they're the bad guys, dude. The
They're my
banking
bank.
system, yeah, they're the bad guys, though. All banks are the bad guys. So,
That is true.
and they're like,
But Chase
Him-
gave me $500 to open a checking account, so
yeah, so,
when I was 18 years old, so it was nice.
and then they fucked you with like thousands along the way. Anyway, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but they're like I saw things where they were saying like Tom Segura is not the greatest guy in the world. He like Joey Diaz had a rough upbringing and he's got shit to talk about. It's like Tom Segura was like his dad paid for his apartment in LA or shit. Like he didn't have it hard at all. So it's like his life stories are like funny because
but
he
like,
thought of them.
But he didn't. Yeah, he didn't have a rough life, but neither did Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, and that's another one though. Like I've told you, like I'm not the biggest fan of Bert Kreischer.
I just think he's funny because I feel like that's a guy that I would hang out with. I feel like if we were in a room, like if we say me and you just happened to go to a bar, and he was there, and he like I'm not saying famous, like just a regular dude. Yeah. So he's just a guy at the bar, and like we happen to sit like he's a seat away. And we just like, I look over at him, or like somehow a conversation strikes out. Yeah, like we would hang out. No, let me finish. We would hang out with him, and we would have a good time with him. And that's how when I listen to his comedy, I look at it as if it was somebody that I would hang out with, and they were just telling stories.
I feel like he would annoy the piss out of me after a while, though.
No, because then I would start doing drinking challenges with him.
And he would fucking put you to sleep. Because the dude's an alcoholic. Yes, he is. Here's the thing, though. The thing that really pissed me off was the thing I saw about him, like, being belligerent about, like, his drinking. Mm-hmm. Where he was at, like a school function, and he was drinking. They're like, yeah, hey, you can't drink. He was like, what are you talking about? I'm drinking, regardless. Like, you can either get me a drink or fuck off. And I was like, that's kind of fucked up. And I think he, like, cost some lady her job because of that. Because he was being an asshole. Like, it's like, dude, are you seriously that much of an alcoholic? Like, I get it, you're a public figure, and you get away with a lot of shit, but the fact that you cost, like, a normal person their job because you want to fucking drink at a public function where, like, it's like a school play or whatever, like, you have a fucking problem, dude. Like, you need to kind of fucking check yourself. Don't you think?
Yeah, but he follows us.
No, he doesn't. Shut up. Stupid.
He's on there.
No, he doesn't.
He's on there.
Is he really?
He's on Instagram. Yeah, maybe you should take that back.
I won't take that back. I think no, and I think I would lose respect if I took that back from him. I think he knows if he did that shit, he should fucking own up to that. Yeah, shut up. You know what I'm saying is true. And would you respect somebody like if they talk shit to you and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I take it back because you follow me"? No, fuck that, dude. I'd be like, dude, I know, sorry.
But I'm trying to get the follows.
Yeah, dude. I would have more respect for somebody that talks shit to me straight like it is than somebody who's like fucking cowering in my shadow.
Yeah. But he follows us.
Well, Bert, I think you're funny, but you know, that shit was not cool.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. But I was just when I talk about how I like him,
like there's things I like that he is funny.
Let me all right, since we went completely off topic from everything we were talking about.
Yeah,
and we got into that. Yeah. Like when I was introduced to his comedy was a weird time in my life.
Okay.
I was going through the divorce and change of everything and all that other kind of stuff. And I found two things that helped me get out of like that mindset of things to kind of break away and kind of just feel like I could just relax and calm down and have a laugh and everything else. It was him and his first comedy show that was on Netflix, and it was Impractical Jokers. Those two things, listening and watching those two simultaneously, were just at that right in that moment of my life to where it was something that got me away from the problems that I was having.
Well, here's the thing. All right.
And that's why then I started watching more of his stuff, and then I just kind of felt it as, all right, this is going to be really dumb saying it, but it was like having that friend that you needed to get you out of that kind of mindset. Mm-hmm. That's what his comedy was to me. Yeah. So like I was listening to his comedy and listening to how his life was going and the things that he would do. And I would always think, like, man, if I had a friend like that, like, I wouldn't need to watch this. I could just have that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of that connection. And it was the same thing with Impractical Jokers, where, like, they weren't to that extreme level. They were just goofy. And we saw them live. Like, even when they were live, it was still good in a way where it wasn't like...
Well, most of the time they were presenting their skits.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, even... But it wasn't, like, dirty...
Except at the very end.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, it wasn't very inappropriate.
Yeah.
It was very friendly.
Well...
But it was those things that helped me get through
that time.
Get through that time in my life. So I attached that to it, to where if I have that feeling again, I know where to go to get that out of me. Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, like, at like 3:00 in the morning, I'm sitting there and I'm feeling that way. I could pop on a special or an episode on Hulu or whatever.
You can shoot me a text.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's that instant thing where I'm right back to where I was at, and it helps me get back on track.
I completely understand it. And I'm not saying Bert's necessarily a bad guy. I'm just saying he did a shitty thing. Okay, yeah. But then he's done good things. Like, he did the drive-in comedy shows where during the pandemic.
He gave a lot of comedians a lot of work.
Yeah, during the pandemic.
And they still do that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that thing popped up, and I'm like, okay, there's that. I think it was like a TikTok I saw where they were just shitting on Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer.
Well, you got to think about it. They have to.
Then I saw the thing where, like, because I still go back and listen to like I love Bill Burr. Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians because his style and his flip out and just the shit that he says rings true.
Oh yeah, but see, that was like I like Bill Burr, but like,
and he had that falling out with Bert Kreischer,
but like
over their show.
When I'm comparing them, like where I was at, I couldn't listen to Bill Burr at that point in my life. Because Bill Burr would just bring me further down that rabbit hole, and I would just be more fucking angry.
Because he's angry.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, and that's where, like, I found him more later, and then I kind of connect with him more as, like, in old dads.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. Yeah. Like, and that's how I connect with him.
Yeah.
You know, but, like, yeah, I don't expect, like, you know, that these fucking dudes, especially now with how much more they have taken off. Yeah. With Two Bears and all their specials and everything, and like, you don't, like, it's gonna be expected that they're gonna have those moments where they're just dicks,
their ego,
you know, and they have that entitled moment, you know.
But here's the thing, like, I don't think I heard that one of the best comments I heard from Joe Rogan was where he was at like a comedy show. And Chris Rock was on stage. And some dude came up to him and he was like talking to him, bullshitting with him. And he's like, hey man, I gotta get on your podcast. He's like, dude, get the fuck away from me, dude. I'm watching Chris Rock right now. Like, and to me, that's one of the things, like, that's one of the things that I respect, because I'm like, you're talking to the guy because you don't want to diss him. But then he's like just trying to get on you because he knows who you are. He wants to get on your podcast because of the exposure. And you're like, dude, get the fuck away from me right now, dude. I'm watching Chris Rock. Why aren't you watching Chris Rock? And I was like, dude, that is one of the coldest fucking things I've ever heard. And I was like, dude, respect. Because it's true, dude. If you go to a comedy show, let's say you went to a comedy show, and you run into Paul McCartney. For whatever reason, Paul McCartney's there, and for some reason you have a reason to talk to him. Are you going to be over there and kissing his ass, or are you going to be like, dude, I came here to watch a show?
Depends on who's on stage.
You went there. You paid to go see a show.
Well, it would also, yeah, but it would, so it changes the factors of who's on stage at that moment. Is it the opening act?
No. It's the main act.
I say, if it was the opening act, I'll bullshit with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, no, it's not fucking, I don't know.
Now,
whatever.
If I have the opportunity to talk to Paul McCartney after the show, then I would step aside. But you got to think about it. Like, all right, you're putting somebody that is way above Joe Rogan's status right now. You're talking about a night. Okay.
Okay, that's not
So like you have to think about it. I think that even if Joe Rogan had the opportunity to talk to Paul McCartney at a Chris Rock show,
I'm sure
he would talk to Paul McCartney.
I'm
And then
sure
he would be like, "Hey, Paul, let's talk after 2 and it will be good, right?" Yeah, sure. Like
okay,
you're putting somebody at the most like the pinnacle.
Okay, so in your situation, you went to see a Paul McCartney show, and somebody who's not of that status is like, "Hey, Kyle, can I get on your podcast?" And he's just like, "Hold on, dude."
I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's watch this show and we'll talk after."
Well, yeah, but you'd be like, "Fuck off for right now."
Oh yeah,
I'm watching. Yeah, History in the Making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
Kind of that situation.
That's different than if you.
So maybe I put the places in the wrong place, but I use the right.
I'm going to tell you, I think most people, if they were able to talk to Paul McCartney anywhere, they would, no matter what situation they were in, because then you don't know if he's going to be there any longer. Because then I'd be like, "Hey, is your real name this? And did you die in a car crash
in 1978?"
Yeah, and then you looked different, and you played bass a little bit different too.
Yeah, you originally.
And the guy who won your lookalike contest became you. Are you him?
Yeah. And what's the deal with Ringo Starr? Everybody.
But it's just, but yeah. But I mean.
So right scenario, right pieces, different position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, though. It's like, okay, let's say you went to see a Paul McCartney show, and you have, I don't know, like I come up. You'd be like, dude, fuck off! I'm watching Paul McCartney.
No, I'd be like, hey, dude, let's watch this.
Somebody you don't know that well.
If somebody I don't know that well came up to me, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm watching the show.
Well, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of.
But if it was somebody famous who was like, hey, man, do you like them? I'm like, oh, yeah, I love Paul McCartney. Like, I would have that kind of conversation and then be like, hey, let's watch this show. And then we continue watching the show, but can have a small conversation in between.
Yeah, but they're deviating the conversation into like, hey, man, help me, because I want.
Well, all right. So then that completely is way different than your first, but it's completely way different than your first analogy, where you were like, if Paul McCartney is sitting there.
No, because I'm using the thing where Joe Rogan was like, dude, I'm watching Chris Rock.
No, that would be
fucking comic legend.
Yes, but this would be. It would be if it was somebody, a comic legend there, and I was coming up to Paul McCartney to talk to him. That's how that would go. Okay. It wouldn't be flipped as if Paul McCartney was trying to talk to me while watching that show. Because if Paul McCartney came up to me while I was watching that show, like, hey, I would be like, whatever you need to say, I will listen. So that's the misconception that you had, to where like if somebody is using me to build themselves up for that,
I completely forget that you're a total fucking Beatles fanatic.
I think if anybody met Paul McCartney, they would still be starstruck in the fact that it's Paul McCartney. And I think just because you have that,
point, I don't think I'd be starstruck.
You don't think
I'd be like,
you don't think that if you had the opportunity to talk to him, like have a conversation,
because I would always have that thing in my mind where I'm like, are you a real Paul?
Well, but that's the thing is you would be able to have something that so many people don't have. Is that you could say you had a conversation with him.
A lot of people have that. A lot of people.
Not really here. Like I couldn't. Like I'm talking about like our people that we know. You would be able to bring that back to be like, oh yeah, I had this conversation with Paul McCartney and talk about that.
If you had Joe Rogan status, not our status, we're like fucking ants compared to that dude.
Yeah, I know, but that's the way that you presented it to me.
That's what I'm saying. If you were at that level.
Well, even if I was at Joe Rogan status and Paul McCartney came to talk to me, I would still talk to Paul McCartney.
I'll give
you got to look at it that way.
I'll give you that.
Like, is he going to be like, oh, Paul, we'll talk later?
I'll give you that because Joe Rogan recently had, well, not recently, but a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, he had Russell Crowe on, and he was like, oh, first I'm like starstruck, and then I'm like, oh, you're just a regular dude. He had Dennis Quaid on, same thing, and it's just like, they're regular people, and that's what I think I would be like, because I feel like I would meet, I don't know, Liam or Noel Gallagher, and I'd be like, holy shit, dude, and then I'd talk to him for 5 minutes, I'd be like, oh, you're just a regular person.
Well, yeah, that's how most people would be, but I feel like if you were in the middle of something and they approached you to want to talk with you. You're not going to be like, whoa, hang on.
Hold on. I'm watching Bubba talk.
Yeah, like I don't like most people wouldn't do that because at that point in your life, especially if you don't have the status of whatever they're looking for, and they're like, "Hey, man, we want to talk to you for a minute."
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I might not have this opportunity again."
Yeah,
you take the conversation.
Yeah,
that's why with your first one, if you said Paul McCartney wanted to talk with me in the middle of whatever show,
okay,
I would be like, yes. But if it was me coming up to Paul McCartney would take a shit on me and be like, "Nope, sorry."
I'd be like, let's say Carlos Mencia wanted to talk to you.
I would be like, "Nah, dude, I'm watching your show."
Yeah. Okay, so there. Now.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah. If Carlos Mencia was talking to me, I'm like, bro, you really need to figure out what's going on because something's wrong.
How about Fluffy?
Oh, dude, yeah. I would.
All
right, and see right here. See, there's another one. So it was Bert Kreischer. It was Gabriel Iglesias. It was Impractical Jokers, dude. That like, it was one of those things like
they were a really good crutch.
It was those things that helped me. Well, Gabriel Iglesias was good for me and the boys because the boys liked his comedy because he was clean.
Yeah,
and he would have a bad word or two here and there, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah. It was something like silly, but it was something to where I had the connection with them to where the three of us were able to forget about the stuff that was going on in the early days. Mm-hmm. Now they don't care. They're used to it. We're all used to it. We're all good and everything's fine. But back in those early days, Aloha Fluffy, that special in particular, like I'm feeling it right now because
you live by the cake. You
no. It was just that special was so important to the three of us that helped us get through hard times. Yeah. So like, if I met him, yeah, you wouldn't. I would be like, I got to take this. Like we're gonna talk.
He represents something.
Yeah. So I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I would be like, hey, whatever I'm doing right now can be on the back burner. I need to take care of this.
Yeah, of course.
So because it's just, and I mean, and even like watching his other specials, you know, he's always been the same way.
Well, he's one of those dudes that felt like he had like 17 hours or more with the material. It was all like different material within like his first couple of years.
Yeah.
Where even Bill Burr was like, this fucking guy had albums out before. Like a lot
of and even if
been established for years.
Like when you're listening to him and he talks about it, it's like when they ask him like how he comes up with his jokes, and he's like, most of the things is just things that happen in my life and I'm telling stories. He's like, I just have these situations.
You gotta get something out of the fridge, brother, because I'm dry. Are we gonna split that? Breezy, like Beezer. George Breezer, like Beezer. George and Wheezy.
We could split the Beezer.
Yeah. Well, you done with your?
Yeah, this is done.
You done with your Ivan Drago there?
Dude, that stuff was so good.
It was.
You know, I don't know how we got to talking about comedians and stuff when we were talking about Halloween, and I don't know how that came about.
Well, you know, comedians are a very important part of our. At least I know out of my daily routine because I fucking love comedy. Who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
You know. But yeah, if you want to get back on topic.
I mean, I'm fine with talking about it because these are just like.
What are some?
Like I feel like I'm kind of going a little bit deeper into it, as far as things that help me.
Well, divorce is definitely a horror story.
Well, yeah, but it was crazy that like when that happened, like that's when the Bert Kreischer's Netflix special for The Machine came out, and then that's when Aloha Fluffy came out, and then that's when Impractical Jokers really started blowing up. Was when that happened to me. I'm not trying to have any connection, but it was just like it was weird how that all fell into place to where I had that to get me out of it.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from because I feel like if I'm going through a rough time, there's things that I could turn to. Whether it be movies or comedy specials or what have you. Friends and whatnot. Like, I've vented to you so many times. You and Phil are like my go-to when I'm like, dude, this shit's happening. Like, I told Phil the other day something, and he's like, again? And I was like, you know how it is, brother. I'm like, it's a 2-week thing. It's like a
Well,
ritual.
whenever you call me, I know what it's going to be, so.
Yeah. No, and I almost called you the other day.
You don't call me to be like, hey, dude, how's it going? You're
Yes, I do.
You're usually like, hey, man. I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah. Well, you know with my calls, it's either like, hey, shit hit the fan, or hey, we're good.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? I called you a couple times where I'm just like, hey, man, what's going on? And then I hear in the background, Kyle's got to do chores.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, well, dude, enjoy the rest of Braveheart, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. She didn't know that Braveheart was even a movie.
Yeah, dude, mine is not very well educated in classics either. So,
and I'm like, Braveheart.
I feel you.
Braveheart is an amazing movie.
Dude, we watched Braveheart on the screen, and like 3/4 in, she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs and wash dishes or something." I'm like, "You gotta wash dishes."
The best part
but
of that,
she did like 300, which is fucking epic.
Mm-hmm.
Gladiator, also another epic. I haven't seen the sequel.
I heard it's.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be Maximus good. So there's some where I'm just like, you gotta watch this, dude. You know, A to Z. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we gotta watch this.
See, now when it comes to Dracula, I like the one. I told you.
Don't say the Untold one.
I thought it was all right.
It was all right. It's not fucking Bram Stoker.
No, I'm not talking about in that level. I'm talking about as far as entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought it was good because he was like, I need to take on the darkness to do this. Yeah. Like, I thought making the mystical part of it.
I hate it when they try to make the villains the good guys, though.
Yeah.
Dracula's fucking Dracula, dude. He's gotta be. Did you see the Netflix series, the Dracula one?
No.
It's fucking good, dude. He takes out a convent, dude. Nuns. Slaughters them. That's fucking Dracula, dude.
Okay.
He's like, holy ground, fuck you. That is Dracula, dude.
Well, yeah, they in the Dracula Untold, they did kind of depict Vlad the Impaler as more of a martyr, and a hero, over a psycho.
Dude, he's supposed to be.
Well, he's a psycho.
He's a classic movie horror villain, dude.
Well, he's a psycho.
Yeah. If you saw Bram Stoker's Dracula with Anthony Hopkins and Keanu Reeves, oh my God, Mr. fucking Van Helsing, I know where the bastard sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. And I love that. He's like, I seen where the bastard sleeps.
You know what I want to see more of?
Ted, dude. Anyway, there's that, and then you got other movies like the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman. Even that's a good fucking storytelling.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they got the whole werewolves versus vampires thing.
See, I wish they would do more werewolf movies, more lycanthrope movies.
You got to watch this one episode.
Because I loved I love the prequel of why am I drawing a blank right now? Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, Underworld.
Yes, the prequel of Underworld.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that one.
The Lycan's Uprising?
Yeah.
Okay, so homework for you. There's an episode of Black Mirror called Maisie Day. Watch it. I go back to it and I'm like, one of the best werewolf transformations. And I know I just spoiled it for you because the whole episode you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then at the end you're like, oh.
Did you ever watch The Order?
Yeah.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
Dude, that was a good show.
Dude, there's a video game.
I feel like they needed to have that keep going. I was mad that they canceled it.
Yeah. That's based. I don't know. I don't want to say it's based off a video game or vice versa. There's a game called The Order 1886, and it deals with werewolves. But it's like very Victorian like, and I know that one's like a fucking sorority thing.
Yeah, it's modern day.
Yeah.
But like even that show, I'm like, oh, this isn't bad.
Silver Bullet, dude. Stephen King.
Yeah.
That's an awesome movie.
But I just feel like they kind of leave werewolves off to the side. And that was the only reason I liked watching Twilight is because the Native Americans were the fucking werewolves.
Yeah, skinwalkers.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie? Not a movie. The is a TV show. Is it Harlem Grove or something like that? Harlow Grove. It's Bill Skarsgård's in it.
Okay.
And it's about like vampires and werewolves.
Hmm.
It was on Netflix for a while. Look it up. Famke Jensen's in it.
Famke.
Whatever. However you want to say it.
Famke Janssen.
Famke Jensen. Whatever. Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Phoenix is in it. Yeah. It's
whatever Olga Onatop or whatever she was called in James Bond.
Oh yeah. She like squeeze people and like
she would break people with her thighs.
Yeah, she would like suffocate them.
Yep.
Like, you can't breathe anymore. Yeah.
And I remember we had this conversation about being a vampire or a werewolf.
Yes. I think being a vampire would be more suave, but I do also like the aspect of you have the raw power of the werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'd rather be a werewolf myself.
I would.
Because there's still that. Because I feel like with werewolves.
They walk?
Well, no, but they're like alive still.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like you're dead as a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
Like, do you have feelings? You don't have feelings because you're dead.
Yeah.
And I still think as a werewolf, you still have. No, what? Like, what's...
Well, you weren't like, you don't have feelings anymore. They might have feelings.
No, but I'm talking about...
You're just not alive.
No, but I feel like if you're dead and you're a vampire, you're void of feeling. Because you're not alive anymore.
I don't think you're void of feelings because you're not alive in the conventional sense that your heart's beating. You're still But I feel like living, breathing thing. But you're still
you're not breathing. You're not living or
you're
breathing.
a living thing because you're fucking atomic.
You're dead.
You're still around though.
Yeah, but
you're conscious.
But I feel like it's not. You wouldn't have.
I don't buy that. I don't buy the vampires are dead and you're not a living, breathing thing because you are alive. You're unliving. The unliving dead or whatever. So you're still around.
You're unliving dead.
I know what I'm saying sounds fucking ridiculous, but you're still around. You're conscious. You could be like, oh, do I want to bite this person or that person? You could still make. But
I feel like with werewolves, you're alive, and you have more empathy and emotion and feeling. But then when you turn into the werewolf, is where you have that battle of, do you become the beast or do you become the defender?
Yeah.
And I feel like werewolf would be the better way to go. At least to me.
Here's the thing.
And I think about it just because of based on things that I've seen in movies and everything else. Right. Like I felt like in all the underworld movies, the werewolves were completely misunderstood.
Okay, so here's the thing.
They were the slaves, and then they overcame their slave owners.
We both agree that werewolves would probably be the most dominant physically.
Yes.
Okay. But that power is unhinged. You can't control it. It's rage. Right? Versus you're undead, but you're in control and you can think and coherently do what you want to do. So there's that's the two sides of the coin, and then you got the mummies, which are fucking
But if I had a choice,
Egyptian zombies.
but if I had a choice of being alive,
Yeah.
I'd rather be alive.
Especially if it's like, oh yeah, you could never die.
Yeah.
Like you're eternal. You could be a werewolf forever.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Until you get killed with silver.
Yeah. Or if they were, even if they were like, oh yeah, no. Instead of like,
well, but then
instead of living like 100 years, you get like 500 years.
But you had
like,
those.
Yeah, dude.
But you had the ones that were able to control it. So if you were able to learn how to control it, I feel that makes it even.
Here's the thing: they could transform at will, but they were not in control.
No, what's his name was under control.
Lucius?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Was he transformed? No.
No.
He had his rage.
But
directed.
but he was able to control it when it came to when he had to calm it down. He was able to control it.
Yeah, they could transform at will, and he had his rage directed at fucking Victor, which is why he was able to do that.
So he was able to control it because his rage was focused on one thing.
Right, but it doesn't mean he could do it like any time.
No, but if you're able to focus your rage on a specific thing, then yeah, I'd rather have that than being an undead fucking thing.
I was just thinking,
like, you're just an undead thing there, like, Yeah. And then you have the ability to change back into a person. And with you living that long, you have the ability to set yourself up for generational things, and then you transform into a werewolf when you need to take care of business, because you're able to control. Yeah, when you're able
to go
on
your rag.
Yeah, when you're able to do what you need to do.
When you go on your rag and you fucking rampage, and you're like, "Fuck my husband, fuck this."
Yeah.
Fuck laundry.
There you go.
And then,
so I feel like werewolf would be way better than vampire.
So you want to be a woman?
No, I want to be a werewolf.
Yeah, you want to be a woman.
No, I want to be a werewolf.
They have that, dude. They turn into werewolves once a month.
No, they turn into vampires.
No, they turn into fucking werewolves. Once a blue moon, or once a month, for a week, they turn into fucking werewolves.
Mm-hmm. Maybe yours does. Mine turns into just a... Just there. Just there. She turns into more of a mummy. His laser and goes to sleep.
Careful, she might be listening.
Nah, she won't listen to this. It's all right.
Let's talk about parenthood.
People listen to the... Yeah, we won't talk about that one no more.
So Alice is doing great.
I had people listen to the bachelor party wanting to hear about that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's what happened? I'm like, yeah, nothing crazy happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry to disappoint you guys.
We're older gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm like, we're people,
not 20, dude.
I'm like, we're people with common sense who just want to have a good time.
Some of us had a better time.
I thought it was good all the way around.
Yeah.
I don't care that I got drugged on the third Saturday night we were there, and me, Julio, and Simic fucking got killed. The first night I was all right, because we were playing basketball and almost died.
We were fucking playing basketball on fucking ice.
Yeah, but the second night, I know something bad must have happened, because I was completely fine at one point, and then I was not fine, and then Simic wasn't fine, and then Julio wasn't fine.
You guys got that green grip.
I'm just saying, it was a little odd that all happened at one point.
Yeah.
But I would still be a werewolf over a vampire.
I am undecided. But probably a werewolf.
I just feel like it's more because you're alive. Like, that's the thing that gets me. It's like, I'd rather have, like, you can live for 500 years. I'd be good with that. And then be able to still have the ability to die. Than being like, I'm the undead.
Well, vampires just still die.
Yeah, but they have that they have that undead thing. Like, you need to be killed. Like, but they're alive.
So
werewolves are alive. They can live very, very long, but they're alive. Like that's the
They
thing.
have a pulse.
Yes, that's the thing that's different from vampires.
They're
Vampires
living and
are
they breathe and
yes. Vampires
like
are the
you think a
undead.
vampire could live out in space because they don't
Probably,
need oxygen.
probably. But I'm just saying, like,
hold on.
that's the
Who says vampires don't need oxygen?
But I'm just saying, the thing that gets me is where you go from undead to alive.
Yeah.
I would rather be alive than undead. I just feel like there's that purgatory sense.
So you think a vampire is like a glorified zombie?
Yeah.
With fangs?
It is. If you really think about it, a vampire is a
That's why I brought it up.
A vampire is
it's a very simplistic.
A vampire is an intelligent zombie.
Yeah.
That's
why I brought it up. That's why I'm like.
And you have a vamp or a werewolf.
Well, that doesn't rot either.
Yeah, but a vampire. Or why am I saying vampires though? A werewolf is the primal being of a human. It is at its most primal instinct, rage, everything else, and it's alive.
Yeah.
But then can turn back into a human for regular purposes.
Yeah.
So when it becomes a lichen, it is all the rage and everything that's built inside that human to let out for that period of time, and then he goes back to normal.
You gotta watch that Maze's Day.
But I'm saying, like, if you really look at it, you have an intelligent zombie or a human who is able to get rid of all that rage in
and you can walk in the daylight. All right.
And you can live as a human.
I gotta pee. So.
Well, we could probably just
end
this now since we completely talked about.
We fucking derailed this episode.
Yes, this was completely
that's what
derailed.
it's all about.
Well, this was supposed to be about Halloween and scary movies, and we ended up talking about
comedians are scary.
Comedians and werewolves and vampires.
Werewolves and vampires are scary. They're Halloweeny. What are you dressing up for Halloween as?
Myself.
Yeah, civilian life.
A broke white guy.
A broke white guy?
Yeah.
So you're gonna wear a flannel? Is that what you're doing?
Pretty much. I'm a broke white guy that lives in Illinois.
Yeah.
So I'll be wearing a flannel, drinking a Busch Light.
Yeah. The Busch Light's the fucking key touch.
Yep.
True. All right.
Even though an ice cold Busch Light is actually pretty good. So.
It's not bad. I've tried them.
I'm talking about like ice cold.
So, here's wishing everybody a happy Halloween and happy elections and all that.
Yep. Vote for Trump.
Vote whoever you want. Salute.
Not Kamala. She's the devil.
Good night, everybody.